Hi there. Just finishing another session of the Divine Feminine, which I feel so grateful for. We were talking about abundance and how important it is to understand bragging as a practice, to really celebrate our already success, because if you cannot celebrate that, honestly, like, we cannot attract more. But anyways, I've been delaying to make a video about this because I'm like, how can I talk about this? But here it is. I feel like it's time to bring it up, and I want to touch the subject of panic attacks. I know, maybe you were not expecting that. But what is happening is that from 2020, we've all been through so much challenge, guys, of growth, that there is an increase in nervous system kind of illnesses or situations, and panic attacks is one of them. I've been reached out by people that are like, Catherine, like, I've been having these out of body experiences, super freaky. And I'm like, dude, me too. I never had a panic attack in my life, except last year they started. And I want to talk about it because I want us to regard these things as the greatest gift, to understand what we are releasing from our bodies. So first of all, when you're a kid and you live through trauma, and to understand trauma is a process that was not completed in our body. So it's kind of like on standby, and it stays on your body like, hey, okay, you cannot process me right now, but it's something that you have to come back to. Obviously, we are not taught these things when we're kids, like about processes, like you left that undone, like you have to go back, otherwise it stays in your body. And what happens is that those things eventually, it's like, hey, there is some trauma here that you need to go back and finish this process. And sometimes we have accumulated those processes, and when there's the moment of like taking responsibility and accountability, because your body is like, look, I cannot hold this any longer because I have some other things that are dialing up, then panic attacks come really handy, because it's almost like your body is like, okay, I am done here, like you need to come and meet me where I'm at. And what happens with panic attacks, and why they feel like an out-of-body experiences, and why they can definitely be an out-of-body experiences, but I'm not saying that one is the other, is that it's almost like you lose control of your capabilities in your physical body. So it feels really freaky to the mind to not be in control. It's almost like you cannot move your body, and that is super freaky. But what I want us to understand is what is happening at a deeper level. It's like we're paying attention to a part of our trauma that needs to be understood, cared for, loved for, and then obviously liberated in that way. We cannot liberate trauma by adding more pressure. It's kind of like a little child that is like, I am making so many mistakes, and then you come to the child like, damn you, why do you do that? Like, what do you think the child's gonna do? He's gonna close up, and he's like, I'll never talk about this again. So the same, our trauma are like little children that are like, hey, I'm waiting. And just to remember that trauma and the way we cope with it is a miracle. If you were abused when you were little and you develop a strategy to block that from your consciousness, because you're like, as a child, I cannot deal with sitting myself through this trauma because I don't understand it, that is a miracle on its own, because wow, we are able to do that, to survive. But what happens is that if we don't pay attention to that later on, and we don't close that chapter of healing, we are gonna still probably be unconscious around a lot of things, and maybe this agreement will affect all of our other relationships. So panic attacks come really handy on these circumstances that we're living on, because it's calling us to fast growth, fast evolution. So it's like the places where you were undone, the panic attack is gonna bring you back, and it's like, wait, we cannot move until you look at this. All right? So it's a special time to feel supported and to ask for help. This is so important. Not because somebody is gonna help you better than you can help yourself. It's not about that. It's because we transitioned into an era, I'm gonna call it the Aquarian age, but if this doesn't resonate to you, whatever, call it as you wish. But you definitely do know that the world changed, right? Things feel different, we feel different, but this era is the era of supporting yourself and finding strength in that support and vulnerability. Is when we talk about our challenges and the things that happen to us that we can liberate them and we can liberate other people. So panic attacks are a great fucking miracle right now in your life. And I would love to talk more about it in how we can ease and go into our body. This is what I do with women, so we can move the energy and use that poison as we first described it. We can alchemize that poison into our own medicine for the things that really feel alive and joyful and like present to us right now. Because remember, your life 2 years ago, even though it made so much sense in that moment, it might be making like 0 sense right now. And that is super freaky for the mind. Because for your mind, it's like, wait, I worked so hard for all of this. What do you mean I want none of it? So it's like the mind finds a lot of struggle when you tell her, we're going to change. She's like, no. Everything but change, because your mind, its job is to keep you alive. And what it's for the mind aliveness is to keep everything as it is. Even if you're gonna change for something better, there's gonna be challenge. So to understand these things and to ask for support is crucial. And it's definitely related to undone businesses that you definitely want to review. Right now in the world, the theme is reviewing all contracts that you made, and they were blissful and they were amazing because they help you survive and thrive and probably learn other things. But maybe you don't need those contracts anymore. You can close them and say, that was an amazing part of my life, and now I'm ready for the next. Because the people that stayed alive after 2020, you're getting a second chance to live a new life, but in the same body. And that is very crazy, very out there. Probably we've never experienced this before. Probably we have. It doesn't really matter, but this is what is happening. So for you to go through this death and rebirth in your own body, like there needs to be this contraction and expansion. And a panic attack is just that. It's just bringing you to the present moment with undone business. I hope this helps. I hope that if you've been having these experiences, you're like, wow, I'm not alone, because you're not. Bless you. Bless. Have a good day.